to take some tours with me as well.
Great. Thank you very much, Senator.
Thank you.
And dealing with which could be characterized greatly is sometimes a highly polemic, highly volatile, area when it comes to workers' rights, when it comes to the farmers, farm workers, how you deal with this fairly and across the board. I'm sort of kind of at the last minute because I'm having it in front of me right now. And I apologize if anyone represents this company. I apologize for mispronouncing the name, but it's Grauen? Grauen? Is it Grauen? Yeah, I'm reading the opposition letter from Grauen right now. To the best of my ability. I don't have my glasses with me right now, but obviously they have highlighted certain points here through a perspective of a grower. And given that, I think that across the board, Democrats and Republicans have taken obviously different votes on a whole variety of issues. I think in general, what we want is fairness across the board, respect for the human rights for the farm workers themselves, the women and the men, and oftentimes young women and young men who start at a very young age, picking, under, difficult conditions. There's no question about it. And the sun, the cold temperatures, and it's been an evolutionary process moved forward by policies, by policymakers who have moved forward measures that have been very important for the protection and the betterment of the conditions for these employees, these farm workers. That being said, we also recognize too that the agricultural industry in California is among the most advanced and sophisticated in the nation, if not in the entire world. They are an integral component of our economy in California. And I believe, and I hope I correct this, because someone had corrected me because the way I said it. I think the nation receives 50% of their vegetables, of their fruits, of their nuts from the state of California. Whether it's almonds, whether it's oranges, seedless citrus fruit, lemons, alcachofa, artichoke, and a whole range of other products that are grown and picked and boxed and shipped off, to other parts of the state and the country. So how you deal with everyone across the board is critical without a question. And I, as an urbanite, if you will, I've learned a lot myself prior to becoming a legislator. I had no clue about seedless citrus fruits and the importance to our economy here in California, and the difference actually between our citrus fruit in Florida. And the Florida citrus fruit is not table fruit, but rather just for concentration and juice. And like our oranges are much better than Florida's oranges, but they've done an incredible PR job, if you will. But it is important to our industry here in California, and to have an objective perspective to get all the input, all the evidence that comes in from both sides, and dealing with this in a manner is very, very important. More so commentary than actually question, but if there's something that you'd like to add to this, please.
No, I appreciate that, Mr. Pro Tem, Mr. President. And again, as I've had just an amazing opportunity working with every last one of you. And I hope the way I've worked with each and every one of you, the fairness, open door policy, being able to be objective, being able to sit down and have a conversation, whether we agree or disagree, being able to bring some balance to a decision, bringing compromise. It's that same type of leadership that I will apply, that I've applied here, that I will be applying at the board, on the board. And without counsel, I appreciate the directives, and it just makes sure that I have a sense of direction as to where this honorable body would like for their members, their appointed members, to be and to go. But you have my 100% support that I will be that member that's objective, that I will represent every segment of the industry, all parties involved, farmers, farm workers, in carrying out and executing the work that I've been assigned to.
Mr. Hall, let me ask you a question. What do you say to your critics who say that you're not qualified to hold this
I'll tell you
position?
this. I was elected to the school board, never, ever, ever, ever sat on the school board. But I did an extraordinary job. I sat on the city council for 6 years and helped turn my city around. I sat on the city council, was elected. I had never sat on city council before. And I did an extraordinary job.
That says your mother, right?
Pardon me?
That says your mom. Your mom said you did an
Well,
extraordinary job.
now that's questionable. I said I was elected to the state assembly and never sat in the assembly before, and likewise with the Senate. When I was sworn in as a reserve deputy sheriff during the time, I had never served in the sheriff department, but I was sworn in, and through experience, I became a great advocate and a great worker. And likewise here, I've never sat on this board before, but I know the issues. I think I'm pretty quick to learn as well. Have a bachelor's, 2 masters, and a PhD. I think I can collect pretty well. And I will use all of those collective experiences in public service, in academia, in social services to be a great member of this board.
I say this, and maybe one can interpret it as throwing you a softball and you taking it where you want to take.
Yeah.
Because I know I just had an opportunity to read perhaps some of the critiques, if you will, of your specific appointment, but also knowing within context the way you explained your past history in terms of appointments and elections too. I do recall when I carried legislation, someone who represents Los Angeles and had no idea about seedless citrus fruit or cross-pollination and why bees were needed, and stone fruit and pitted fruit, and the difference between concentration, and juice oranges, citrus, and what seedless citrus, and cuties and the whole bit and the role that bees play, and I even felt a little sense. I remember then Congressman or then State Senator Jeff Denham, who's now in Congress, he had questioned the idea that perhaps those growers of seedless citrus had they had no rights, if you will, to protect their industry, because they wanted to grow and they wanted to sell a certain product, and that the bees themselves, and I know we have to make sure we take care of the bees, there's no question about it, because we need bees as part of that ecosystem for our agricultural industry. But I recall, just a tongue-in-cheek, Abel Maldonado, Mr. Denham, at the time, I think it was Senate Agricultural Committee, and I had said to Mr. Denham the first time I had met him that this is not the former Soviet Union where you have apparatus checks at the Politburo dictating to growers what they can grow, what they cannot grow. This is America, last time I checked, so it's the freedom of the farmers to do what they want to do when they want to do it. And it was sort of my introduction, if you will, to the world of the farmers and growers too. And obviously, I've always known, the vital role that the farm workers play in bringing this product to market. Without them, there is no market. Period. So it's sort of kind of we're inextricably linked to each other. And my knowledge to agricultural issues was limited to perhaps non-existent, other than the consumer, if you will, of the vegetables and the fruits and the nuts. So I have the full confidence that you'll be able to grapple very quickly the data points necessary to make the necessary decisions that you will adjudicate.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. President. And let's also remember that we are dealing with labor relations. We're dealing with charges that have been brought up based on labor practices and things of that nature. And we're not, as much as we like to believe, we're not dealing in what type of fruit you're planting, as opposed to the rights of those working and how the employers are being treated. And so, having said that, I think my qualifications speak for themselves. And I certainly will, again, continue to work with the farmers. I go out and do my tours with them to better understand the things that they're dealing with to make me even a better representative for